like it's a weird change. It's a weird way to end the episode, on her riding the coal train.
I know, right?
Like I
They
don't know.
they wanted that last scene. They just
I know
wanted
they
that last
did.
scene.
I know they
Right?
did. I don't know
Right?
that I did. All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to Vassals of Kingsgrave for another season of House of the Dragon, another edition of DragonCast. Generally, our North American time slot showcast. My name is Adam. I'm also known as drownedsnow on the Discord and I think the forums. Although the forums keep telling me that it's a phishing scam, so I don't really know how to get back in there. Let's see. Today I'm joined by Jucio.
Hey, it's your boy Jucio. A very drunk Ben Jucio, in fact.
He's what we call in his cups. And Matt.
Oh, hey, looks like I got back just in time.
And I think we'll have a few more vassals cycling in as they finish watching the episode or get on to what they're doing. So we just finished watching the episode. It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Adam is the father amongst us. Happy Father's Day.
Well, thank you, Jucio.
Yeah. Big hugs.
Baby Snow was not allowed to watch this one, so
good.
He won't be joining us today.
I'm very happy to hear that. I want him watching this.
But we just finished watching the episode called "A Son for a Son." Big shock as to what that was about. Spoilers. I feel like they definitely timed this for a Father's Day, considering, because going to make great headlines in the morning, I guess. So, what did you guys think of the episode? I don't know if lemon cakes is an appropriate rating. Maybe like chunks of cheddar cheese or something. I don't know.
I think cheese is great. I would give it a 4 out of 5 cheese. It was yummy. It was delicious. That's about as many lemon cakes as I ate during this stream / viewing. It was a delicious stream. I wish there was more cheese, but there isn't more cheese. So we deal with what the cheese we have.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I think a 4 is about right. It was fun to be back, and there's a lot of kind of good little things in there. We get an introduction of Alan, we get an introduction of Hugh, and plus kind of the other typical stuff we expected. Really enjoyed the opening on the wall. I need to go back and rewatch that scene. That was a lot of fun. Certainly some surprises with how Allison is going about her day.
Right? Oh my gosh, we have to talk about that.
Yeah, the first one, not like, shocking but okay. The second one, I was like, really? But yeah, I say overall the blood and cheese thing is, it's an interesting way to do it. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. If I can understand why they did kind of the haphazard.
The changes, you mean? Or
yeah, just to make it more haphazard. I can understand why they did that, to like match it with what Aemon did to Luke, so you kind of just get like fuck ups on both sides. But I feel like in my heart, I wanted to see something more planned and
yeah, I'm very curious about how that how the changes there are gonna, how the reaction is gonna be amongst the community, the readers. We talked a little bit, in the pre-chat, but yeah, there was a couple of pivots that we'll talk about when we get there that I kind of like. I think they made sense, and I'm also not sure that I'm like totally love them or hate them. I don't really know at the moment. But one thing that did change was the opening scene. The credits was like this beautiful like CG tapestry generation, and I'm sure people are going to pick that apart. I did not have time to
Honestly,
look through too
the
much.
best change.
I mean, I noticed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
leave that for the Gliduses. My friendship not
looked
intact
great, but
though
I
it
was
may
like,
be.
oh, look, there's Starks. There's, there was just a lot going on.
I think that was a really good opener in the fact that it like changed up on the original, but like I still hate the fact that the music is not different.
Yeah, I kind of thought about that too because we've talked about this, and as the score came on, and I'm like, oh, Game of Thrones is back, and it's like a Game of Thrones story, and I wonder like, when we get to Dunk and Egg, since they're making that show next, will
that be the same
have
as well?
like a lighter, less epic, tone, or will they just go right back to the Game of Thrones music?
I really hope they don't. At the same, like, I
don't know.
really want them to like give Ramin Djawadi as much freedom as possible. The man is extremely talented. Why don't they give him the ability to do whatever the fuck he wants? We know he can do it. We know he's great at this stuff. He knows what he's doing.
I wonder if he pitched them something, or this just seems like a creative decision. I believe they've spoken about it before in some of the behind the scenes stuff. One of the things I did in preparation for season 2 was I rewatched season 1, and I watched like all of the they have a season 1 behind the scenes. It's mostly like technical stuff, how the sets are built, stuff like that. But it's like 10 episodes, and I hadn't watched those before, and they covered a little bit of that stuff, which I always find, special features on the DVDs and stuff. I always find that interesting. But yeah, I think, especially considering that this was the first spin-off, and like the final season of Game of Thrones had a very mixed reaction at best. So I think they wanted to hit it with as much familiarity as possible. So I sort of forgive the reuse of the theme there, even if it's probably not my favorite. But I will say this episode,
it feels so safe and
it is, but it's like such
out of tone.
Like the most minor thing, right?
I don't know. I feel like for a personal dynastic conflict that this is at the end of the day, right? It is within the Targaryen family at the end of the day. I take issue with the fact that this feels epic. I feel that the Game of Thrones theme always has felt epic, right? And it's creation.
It's meant to. Yeah.
It felt like it feels like continent wide, right? The fact that the conflict of a Game of Thrones, the original, and the following A Song of Ice and Fire series has always felt like an epic theme, has always felt to me like it belongs with a Game of Thrones and the subsequent books. But for me, Fire and Blood and like the adaptation of it should feel more personal. It should feel more honestly Succession than anything. It should feel more like it's close to home and personal. Because
maybe
it is one family.
We know the story going in, and it's a very we got a very quick story laid out for us, and we know how this sort of ends. But at the same time, we've got hella dragons everywhere. I mean, there's more power at movement, during the Dance of the Dragons fighting over the Iron Throne, arguably, than there was during Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire proper. So
I don't know if I believe that, because in this very episode, Allison is sitting there talking about, oh, have the ravens that I sent to Rhaenyra been answered over and over and over again, because it is the fact that this conflict, as they have made it in the story, has been personal. It has been between Rhaenyra and Alicent over and over again, because they decided to change the story. I agree that the Dance of the Dragons as a whole, while being a dynastic conflict, is a conflict, well, in the wider story, is bigger than the dynasty, is at the same time confined to it, and at the same time bigger than the dynasty itself. In the show that they've crafted, at least in the lore that they've crafted, I take issue with the idea that it's not as personal as it feels. I think it should be more personal. at the end of the day.
I guess like the episodes have been the actors have done a great job of that. So I don't know. We'll that's just something we'll probably have to wrestle with as the season goes on. But I mean, it's an interesting point. So I will say, let's see, let me go because I did the normal show notes. We're just gonna kind of go scene by scene, and some of these we're gonna go real quick. Some of them are gonna take a bit longer to get through, but we won't be here all night. And look at that, our first Lord lately, Kevin, Nuncle Kevin,
the late Nuncle Kevin. Pray.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back,
baby.
From school to talk about this show.
Nice, man. Well, welcome. We were just finishing up our lemon cakes and stuff, so if you would like to give us your cheese cubes of cheddar rating or whatever we're doing.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go 4. I mean, obviously, mostly a setup episode, a thing at the end that we all knew was gonna happen. I guess I like that they're committing to the whole like World War I slow motion crash, like Austin Powers steamroller. No, we can't stop it. Energy, and you know what? If you're committed to the bit, then I'm here for it. So Damon didn't order Jaehaerys specifically dead, and that's what they're going with. So
it's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, that's the big takeaway. Much like Aemond accidentally killing Lucerys, like, and I don't know. I mean, part of me wishes the show just leaned into everyone pick a side. Just kidding, they're all assholes. But it seems like they're going to do everyone pick a side and feel
they
bad
want
for them.
They want the audience to be able to invest in either side without feeling totally shitty.
Yeah.
I don't know how successful that is going to be, but yeah, I mean, it's from a marketing standpoint and gripping television. I understand it. So, yeah, I think did we all give it a 4? Basically, I think that's across the board so far. So, yeah. I mean, it was a good premiere episode. Good premiere episode.
I think so.
Yeah. So let's get on to the first scene. After our new tapestry opening, we get a voiceover at Winterfell. I don't think we realized it's Winterfell right at first because we're following the bird. But then obviously we get to Winterfell, and it's the voiceover is Cregan. Essentially, I assume this is just the conversation he's having, with Jace up there. Is what it seems like. But he talks about how they offer 1 in 10 of their young men to the Watch. And then they're walking the wall. We get a very brief Winterfell here and a very brief scene with the wall. He mentions that neither of the dragons would fly across the wall. Last time the king and queen visited, and they talk about how they're keeping out more than just wildlings from the 700-foot wall. So there's definitely an illusion that the Starks maybe know a little more than we were led to believe.
Can I say I fucking hate this as a general rule? At the same time, I really enjoyed the opening narration of Cregan Stark being real, because at the same time, Cregan Stark is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. There was a weird emotion to oh, he's actually on the screen, freaking Cregan. This is getting real.
And he's got ice.
Yeah. Oh, I screamed. Yeah, that's part of the show. I'm gonna scream every time I see ice, or other than when that stupid dagger reappeared. And then I was watching with a bunch of Unsullied, and I was like, yeah, Vhagar, she was friends. That big dragon skull from last season? That was her homie. And they were like, wah! So,
wait, did the dagger come up again this episode?
Thank God not. I fucking hate the dagger, as you well know.
Okay, I didn't recall seeing it. But
Aegon in the preview of next week stabs a dagger into the table in anger. I don't think it's a spoiler to say Aegon is mad.
Right.
Hashtag Aegon is mad.
Yeah. but I don't know if it was that dagger or not. Like,
Hashtag they got us bad is so real.
Yeah. So what did you think, Matt? I mean, I thought we'd maybe get a little more Winterfell.
Yeah, I'm curious if he's gonna go back.
Because we know he's going to go to the Vale, right?
Is he?
No,
Is he?
Yeah, because he reported back that the Vale.
That Jane Aaron had bent the knee, essentially. That
She said that she wants a dragon to protect the Vale, so I assume that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
Hashtag Rhaena will be going to the Vale.
Yeah, but I assume he's gonna go back at least for a time.
Yeah.
So
they're putting Rhaena on Sheep Stealer, and she's gonna go to the Vale.
I think they're gonna take the easy way out and get like, oh yeah, Rhaena just hatched her dragon. She's going to the Vale as the excuse.
Oh.
Instead of her hatching her dragon in the Vale.
Adam, you might need to edit this, but I think one of the HBO previews said something about Rhaena and like a sheep-eating dragon. I don't think that
Please
was like
do, because my burps feel gross when I don't have control of them.
That's what the mute button is for.
I think we all have kind of figured out that Rhaena is going to be more active in this one, in this than she is in the main story. So we did kind of expect that.
I don't hate that, but I do kind of hate if we don't get proper Sheep Stealer and Nettles. But
I would hate losing.
Did they change any of those actresses? Or did they just go
no?
It's been like
as far as I'm aware, they have not changed any actresses. As far as Rhaena and Bela.
Yeah, because I thought she looked more lanky. I think, but like maybe it's just because they've grown.
It literally might be that they've grown taller in the time being.
Yeah. We saw them so briefly. But,
excuse me. Let me go grab another beer.
That's going to be interesting. So anyway, after all of the wall stuff, we get what is it? Melee's landing at Dragonstone.
Yes.
And then Daemon's like,
Melee's landing
right now.
Well, and Daemon being a whiny bitch. Let me just say that. Why are we going to King's Landing right now? Shut the fuck up, Daemon.
Well, so I think Daemon rightfully wants.
And you're on like a 34, and we need you to come down to an 8.
Yeah, we're gonna
be real with you
in the lower,
Kevin. It's not gonna happen.
All right, we'll just hang out on the mute button for a little while, okay? We'll get you. All right. Yeah, that's going to be interesting because we see in a minute, we see eventually that Rhaenyra has not been around, so Daemon's got nothing better to do, so he's just like, I need a dragon buddy. Let's go to kill King's Landing. Not a great.
They showed not one but 2 dismounts in this episode, which they hadn't done at all during the show. They would always cut away from that. They finally figured it out.
Got to make it not look stupid.
Yeah.
I like to think they have that staircase from Arrested Development, like the stair truck, and they didn't have it.
That would be awesome. So Casey, are you with us now?
I can figure out the mute button. Yes.
Do you want to give us your lemon cakes, your cheese cube rating?
Yes. Oh, God, we're doing cheese cubes.
Yep.
You could do whatever.
It's cheese slices. He was clearly slicing his cheese.
Yeah. He brought a charcuterie board to the murder.
The cheese did look good. I mean, that he was eating before anything bad happened. I would give this 5 we're doing 5 like as the best, right? Or is it 10 out of 10?
Usually we do 5, but you know what? 5. You can do whatever you want.
5 out of 5. Loved it. Allison figured out how to fuck. We're here for it. It's amazing.
We're gonna get there.
Freaked.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet. You had the benefit of watching this with a crowd, so
yes.
Yeah.
It
was quite an interesting scene. We're gonna get there in just a second, but Well, there's a brief scene before we finally get to King's Landing where we run into the sea snake and his ship is torn to shit. And there's not really anything going on here except letting us know that his ship is in Hawk and he's trying to get back out there. And then we meet Alan. And unfortunately, we find Luke's dagger. And it's very sad.
Yeah, no, I caught the guy's name in the credits. I always look out for those, and I happen to know that guy just because he's the Assassin's Creed dude, and I knew he was playing Alan, so excited for that. Really enjoyed that scene in the introduction, and it's cool that kind of people, either you know who he is or you kind of don't. It was the same thing with Hugh Hammer kind of later in the episode, where it's just like laying some groundwork, but people, without like telling who these people are. It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to get some faces out there, and then like, oh, good. They'll build on it. So speaking of which, in the building on it, like in the next scene, we finally get to King's Landing, and we see they got the Scorpions up, but it's just Vagar. It's fine. Same team. Helena's sewing and hanging out with the kids, and we get a number of scenes that happen in quick succession here, with Alicent riding Cole.
Wild scene, by the way.
And very quickly being like, "We'll never do this again." No.
That was
sure
the
thing.
most obvious lie in the universe.
Sure thing. And then the rat catcher, we kind of get the first background rat catcher, which they've weaved into the episode several times. And then a small council meeting with Aegon being a little shit and all that. So
it also felt like the most like, a part of me was like, this feels like old Game of Thrones in a way. Like, I don't know if we needed to be this explicit with the whole like they're fucking thing. But at the same time, do I mind?
I think for Alicent, having been so like shocked by Rhaenyra's, lack of chastity,
infidelity,
pretending to be such a, religious person and all that. Like, if we sort of like have like them touching hands and it's alluded to that her and Kristen are doing shit, like, okay, but like I think it really adds the contrast to just cut to her just like fucking riding his face, like what the fuck?
Well, I also think just like sort of a theme of the first season, and you see it in this episode too, is like her loss of innocence, and like they want her innocence to be something that affects, and naivete in some ways, and love for Rhaenyra and all those things. They want that to be something that like affects the early going, so that as that disappears, there's stakes, right? Like, I'm assuming by the time that she sees Rhaenyra again, that it will have developed to a true blue hatred. So like, they want that to resonate emotionally and not go from like lukewarm to hate, but go from haha, lukewarm. He's not warm.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Yeah. No, I agree on that point. I don't know. It did feel a little, I don't know. In the moment watching it, I was like, whoa, holy shit. It was a cold cut to her and Kristen. At the same time, do I mind? Not overly so. But at the same time, like, it did feel out of nowhere in comparison to like the characterization we had gotten in season 1. Honestly, for me at least. Maybe I'm I
don't know, trading feet and whatever else for secrets. I mean, it seems, I don't know, not much of a stretch here.
I mean,
that feels. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I think it's interesting that we got the scene. I know it was after. I can never remember anybody's names. Foot guy.
Larys.
Yeah, Larys. So after that scene, we see Alicent look. She was in the bathtub and she feels the need to like scrub herself. And I think that, I don't know if that was the feeling of Larys or in general of her feeling dirty. And so I don't think that, like, especially with the scene afterwards of her not her saying we're never doing this again, or it can't happen again. Like I think that there's a part of her that feels not good about this, which I think is true to character. I am surprised that they didn't go more heavy-handed into, maybe she's just hot for Rhaenyra, and maybe they're, she still just has that love for her, but maybe it's, a bit more complicated.
Yeah, that's why I was less surprised about the first one. We, just getting some shit in, and more surprised at like the second one, like, oh, she's actually riding them. So I'm curious where they go with it, I guess.
I mean,
I
think
first one it almost could have been a one-off. I mean, although I don't think it, didn't seem like it was, but it could have seemed like, oh, it escalated or something,
I am curious where this season is going to go with that, because she is on top of him both times.
Yeah, that's always, obviously.
Well, yeah, but like,
No. I know. I'm commenting. Of course she is.
It does feel like a statement, in fact, that like she is, for once in her relationships with men, getting pleasure through the fact that she is, in fact, on top of a man, instead of being subservient in the fact that like every relationship she's been in with a man, it feels like any sort of sexuality comes from the fact that the man wants it, and she has to acquiesce at the very least.
Yeah.
And Dothraki usually take their women from behind, so her turning him over, she's gonna get pregnant now. Oh, sorry, wrong story. I met Jason Momoa a few weeks ago. I'm in my own.
So true.
I do think that I'm, my thought is that this might just continue into, like with the scene with Otto, like I kind of felt like maybe she's eventually gonna realize that she is in fact not in any kind of power. I think that she felt like with this move with Aegon taking the throne that maybe, on the bright side, she's more in power. Like she did everything that she was supposed to do, and now she gets her reward. But I think that she will slowly realize that she will not be rewarded.
Yeah, I definitely agree that she's just that I imagine her arc over the course of the season is just her losing more and more influence over anyone.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely put a point on in this little section here at the small council meeting with her son, who all last season was, she was very much in charge with that dynamic, and he didn't want to be king, and why are you bothering me with this? And now he's like, oh, perhaps Lord Lannister will give a pony ride to the prince. Like, oh, dang.
That was a power move.
Like, so
Tylen bros everywhere malding in the chat.
What'd you say?
Tylen bros everywhere malding in the chat.
Oh, are there Tylen bros? Yeah. So is
many in a
this
Song of Ice and Fire fan?
Is this supposed to give us Joffrey vibes, or like? I mean, I don't know. Is this the sort of thing Book Aegon would do, or would he even bother? It was weird.
I think it's comic relief, but also showing how powerful he is as king. He's testing the boundaries.
Yeah,
I think.
or more how taken with power he is.
Yeah, I think it's very effective at that, at showing us kind of how her losing control and how he's kind of getting power drunk. But like the pony ride things was, I mean, I guess maybe he'll build up to some other shit.
Chicanery, if you will.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to say about our first set of King's Landing scenes? Brief Larry's conversation.
Honestly, I really like the brief Larry's conversation, because it was like, even in the absence of his schemes, it feels like his schemes are everywhere.
Yeah, I think we're going to get more of him as the show progresses, and I think the show will be better for it. At least I hope. So our next scene, and we're probably, I don't know, I want to say probably a third of the way into the episode when we finally get to see Rhaenyra. And she just like is flying over some fishermen and like, what the fuck's going on? They see a dragon, they all scatter, and then it turns out that they've been hauling in the remains of Arax and I think the remains of Luke, maybe. Like they didn't really make it super clear. But this was rough. I mean, the dragon comes down, and I thought for a second she was going to chomp or burninate someone for sure. But she dismounts, and it's brutal. And even the fishermen kind of watching, I think, kind of see like how affected she is, and have some pity after they were scared shitless by the dragon.
I'm pretty sure it was his cloak.
Yeah, it seemed like a wing and a cloak.
The cloak is what she burns later on, so I kind of assumed that there weren't remains, but it was definitely remains of the dragon. So if there was like a limb, they probably wouldn't show it, you know. So I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, not much to say other than, you know, I thought it was well done overall, with just kind of Rhaenyra's kind of journey through grief this episode, just like a good way to show through it all, as well as to like get it all done in one episode.
Yeah. And then very quickly after this scene, we're back to King's Landing with Aegon holding court and a very confusing set of petitioners for the court. And the first guy is a shepherd, I guess, and is mad because he's had to give up sheep. And Aegon's like, well, of course, the crown's going to make you whole. And Otto's like, bro, that's not how taxes work. Like, we can't do that. And he's like, oh, I guess I can't do that. So he's like, I don't know if he's just trying to please the people and doesn't care, or if he think, oh yeah, like we should do what's right. Like, it's kind of hard to get a read on him in these scenes. And then we get, Hugh, and he actually, I feel like he handles the blacksmiths fairly well because Otto doesn't even come back to chastise him. But we do get, once again, the rat catcher just kind of in the background.
Me in watching the episode, snapping like that at that scene of Leonardo DiCaprio in that movie, the Tarantino movie, like snapping at the camera, like, oh, I saw that, and it's Hugh the Hammer.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I don't know how many times they showed us, little bits like that, but it's fun. I think it was done in a tasteful way, and like most people, if they don't know, they won't know. So it's fine. But what do you guys think of him holding court? Competent ruler, little shit.
I was surprised that he actually was like, oh yeah, we can do that. And
yeah, he was actually making an effort.
Yeah,
and even with the blacksmiths, he was like, "You guys are gonna get paid. Like we need the small folk to win this war. You're very valuable." And Otto's like, "Shit, you just said all the right stuff." Like, huh, okay.
This felt very Danny and Marine for a second, where it's like promising something that at the end of the day you don't really know for sure if you're going to be able to deliver it. Although I don't think he has the same intention as Danny, that is to help the people of King's Landing. But at the same time, it does feel in that same vein of sort of naive appeaser to their realm.
Honestly, I think what it says the most is that it's kind of stupid to just have one guy sitting up there. Like, he needs people around to like actually discuss and think out these petitions.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get a briefing. Like, I don't know. It should be like a press conference where it's like they're not asking any questions he doesn't already know the answer to.
Where's the press secretary when you need him?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Where did we go after that? Otto and Alicent have a brief conversation, which I don't really remember much about.
This is the conversation. Sorry,
what's that?
We kind of talked about it. It was just with her being a little upset. First of all, Otto was late, and then to getting to her, and they talked about her pull with her sons.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, basically a strategy session on how to steer the fucking teenagers.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is that they're trying to guide teenagers through a war, and I think that this felt very legitimate as like a scene that necessarily wasn't in the book, but like felt like it very much could be a reality in George's world. Yeah.
Honestly, the planning scene I really liked was the kind of the Aemond um and Cole. I don't know. I feel like
Oh yeah.
it's a good direction to kind of like have their kind of like partnership and be kind of like the front line leaders in
And
the role.
and
And the
underrated
war.
my dynamic, if you will.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is actually interesting. And Cole
Yeah.
isn't like 1,000% a shit. It's actually like interesting to watch Cole in this
Yeah.
scene
And Aemond
versus
even
like any other.
Aemond even in private comes off as very loyal to the family and.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's a few scenes later, but I thought that was a good little fireside chat between the bros. That Otto
Yeah.
had to be like, I hope y'all aren't planning nothing behind our backs.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
we're over here doing the real work, buddy.
They need to get. I was like, they definitely need to get on the same page because they actually could, be half decent, war leaders if they all combined.
Yeah, they like the Lannisters in the main story in that respect, aren't they?
Yeah. Welcome, Stephanie. We are joined by another dragon. You just finished the episode?
Yep.
Yeah, you want to give us your lemon cake, your cheddar rating? How many cheese slices, cheese cubes?
Jeez, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little underwhelmed by this episode. So like 3 lemon cakes. Yeah, I mean, I found
I think most of us gave it a 4. It was pretty positive, but it's a premiere episode. So what were your kind of failings? We're probably maybe halfway through talking about it right now.
yeah,
what
look,
your...
I wanted full like dramatics during the blood and cheese moment. I appreciated that they turned or that they went for like Home Alone burglars dynamic for blood and cheese together. But when it came down to the actual money scene, I wanted more pathos.
Yeah, I honestly think I'm probably in agreement with you where I probably wish it was slightly different than what it was. Like I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I found the actress who played Helena's her delivery rather wooden. Like I don't maybe
I
it'll
liked her.
change. Maybe it'll change on rewatch when she's just and maybe it'll come to grow on me like just like it seems like the sense of relief that they're going for.
Well, like they honestly did a better job with her being terrified about melees last season. Like the beast beneath the board. They didn't do that. They didn't do that whole like. She said one thing about the rats, and it was like she should have said like had her if the way they've chosen to go with her. I think it would have been better if she'd been like rats, like all episode. Just have that as like a theme.
Just a drumbeat of
yeah, and then there was almost nothing afterwards. Like, I mean, you get like one look. You get one look at and that's it from Allison, and that's like it, And if
yeah, that's
I think
I think maybe it's okay to show Aegon there. Like, we know we don't need to wait a week to know they're going to be mad. And I also think
Yeah.
just especially how they portrayed Aegon earlier in the episode. Like, I think I was disagreeing with y'all about, and I was having some mic difficulties, that he was portrayed like a Joffrey. I think he was just portrayed as unserious. Like, he's just unserious and entitled and rich. And so I think showing the change to him at the end of this episode would have been a better way to go. Like, they had the frat boy moment right before that. Like, show that sharp change. Like, show his world suddenly getting very real. And I think you get a lot better payoff of his son being killed, and instead of
instead of
that's
just
fair.
just like because it was the reveal of just like how physical was Crispy and Allison's relationship. But yeah, I think that would have worked better.
Yeah, no, that's a real tough thing where I can understand the purpose of putting the episode cut there, but I also don't want to have to wait a week to see like the reaction stuff, just because like I'm as interested in that as well. So it's just like
Yeah.
I just want to see the first 15 minutes of the next episode. Like,
And
goddamn
because
it.
we've only got 8 episodes this season, but I've always said that I thought
Yeah.
the premiere should be 2 episodes. But
Yeah.
what can you do?
What
So,
is
but
this,
that's a fair point. So
It
you
was
say,
a
Kevin?
pretty long episode in general, in comparison, I think, to most of the episodes.
Yeah.
It
It was
felt
like
that way.
It was over an hour.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we'll get back to the end here in a little bit. But let's rewind before we get there to Mysaria and Daemon. And he's not really happy that she's showed up. And then we get Rhaenyra's first like war council, and the only thing she says is like, "Bring me Aemon," and walks out. Yeah. One track mind, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't fully cut her accent back to normal, but they at least let her tone it down. So I'll call that a win.
I think this time around it's doable. It's
Yeah, I wish they would just let her use her natural British accent, but whatever. This is good enough.
Yeah. And then, I mean, what we got from her next was Jace reporting about his adventures up north and trying to be like the good heir and the good little soldier, and kind of like breaking down and bonding. It was an excellent scene.
That was so good, so heartbreaking. Just like
brutal.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, I really liked that scene. I just would have preferred more Winterfell Brodown.
Yeah, that's what we said. Like that first,
more.
That Winterfell sequence is like so short. I'm like, he goes back, right?
Right. They just put in the Winterfell theme and then just like show an establishing shot of Winterfell. But oops, we're at the wall,
And then like suddenly he's like, we're getting a little bit of like the magical like, traveling around the kingdoms really quickly. Except he does have a dragon, but he gets a raven and whoop, he's heading back home. So I mean, it's fine. As long as we go back there, I think we will. I think we'll get more there. I really hope.
Yeah, and he can still like confess to his mom that, Mom, while I was away, I kind of got married.
Right.
They want to go that route.
I don't know if they'll do flashbacks or anything to flesh that out. They don't really. I don't know if the show's ever really done that, but.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're gonna go back there. I don't think that they're just gonna make. There has to be more.
Yeah, and I mean, in the opening
storyline,
the opening tapestry, I'm pretty sure like the direwolf and the Starks is like one of the first shots in that.
I love the tapestry. I love that it showed Maegor impaled on the Iron Throne.
Oh, was that? See,
You know?
it went so quickly. I didn't know most
It
of what
was
it
right at
was.
the beginning, yeah.
We're gonna
I
have
didn't
to.
catch everything either, so it's
We're definitely
definitely
gonna have to
going to
break it down.
be.
Shocking
Yeah.
lack of knowledge, but like by the time people record this, you know, all the professionals record like tomorrow or whatever, they're gonna have all this broken down. It'll be great, but
Right.
we are not. We are not they. But the next scene, I thought, and we discussed this a little bit in our preview for season 2. They kind of did a little bit of the like Last Jedi. You know, you have Alicent and Rhaenyra kind of both in the same scene. Rhaenyra's doing the burial fire, and Alicent's there saying prayers for the people she's lost. And she says a prayer over the fire for Luke at the same time as they're, you know, doing the funeral pyre for Luke. And it's like one way that you sort of feel like the two characters are in a scene together, even though they're not.
Mm.
Eh.
Sorry for, but just because I'm late, what was the general gist that you guys thought about portraying Rhaenyra searching for Luke's remains?
Oh, I thought it was just one visually very reminiscent of Dany, in the Dothraki Sea, and then I think everything with Rhaenyra related to Luke this episode was just very moving. I think that was mostly where we all kind of landed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that scene and Jace holding Joffrey, like, just
Heartbreaking.
That
It
was
was
very
brutal.
sweet.
It was the way he was delivering the news to Rhaenyra that the other kingdoms had taken her banner was brutal.
yeah. It was very Theoden, no father should have to bury his son kind of energy, even though they were brothers.
Yeah. And just it's saying goodbye to Team Black's Adams family dynamic as we begin the descent to the bottom.
Thank goodness they got Jace out of that wig, though.
Well,
I know,
speaking,
right, Kevin? We were talking in the after season 1 about like how his silly Renaissance fair wig in season 1. I mean, it worked for him in season 1, but I think it's
Yeah.
for the best
Well,
that now it's.
Well, and like
It
I remember
was-
people saw like behind the scenes pictures of him and stuff. And like, why doesn't he just use his hair? Like he has like flowing brown hair that screams.
It's actually curly,
strong.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
There was also like the direction to have him like hunch his back for some reason to make him look like smaller.
No,
There's a
I
lot
like
of-
that because he's he's the dutiful prince who's like trying who is trying to channel whatever feeling of inadequacy into he's the kind of student that says maybe I'm not the naturally smartest kid in the class, but what I can do is I can stay up till 3 a.m. and do any kind of extra credit imaginable.
I don't know. I've always felt like it felt like off in the direction of it. I agree with what you're like getting at, but at the same time, like, yeah, thank God they got him out of that fucking wig.
Well, I think visually he conveys much more of like the perfect prince now. Like
Yeah.
which
And it would have been nice to, if they had done the Winterfell bro down, if they had, that could have given them a chance to communicate that, like growing confidence with the help of his bro.
Yeah, it would have been nice if we got there before they went to the wall, honestly.
Right.
Hot take maybe, I don't know. I really didn't want to see the wall at all in the show.
Yeah, and we could have they could have played this for them just having a grand old time while, back in King's Landing, a child is getting heinously murdered.
They could have given us our Kragan Stark / Jace Valarian fan fiction fodder without going to the wall, by the way.
I mean, I feel like there's no way we weren't going to see the wall, given how important that is to the Game of Thrones, the HBO universe.
I hate dagger talk.
I know. I do think that it's a missed opportunity not to show like a young kind of like hip Stark who's like, down to like hang out with the king and be friends a little bit. But at the same time, like if they cut the season, I think they wanted 10 episodes. They told them they got to do 8. something's got to go, and they needed to get like the duty and the I don't know. I can sort of understand why, but
that's why I hate Max. HBO would never cut it to 8 episodes.
So true, Kevin. So true.
What? It's the same people? What?
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
it's
I'm
the
just
same
saying,
greedy executives. You don't say.
I can understand like them thinking like that maybe like the bro Stark is not needed, but I hope we do go back. I hope we do see more of that relationship and more of what happened at Winterfell. Yeah, I don't know that I'm confident it'll happen, but I hope
there are entire AO3 accounts depending on flashbacks to Winterfell. I'll have you know.
What up, Big Dave?
Hey,
I know.
kids.
At least they mentioned how Alaric Stark entertained Alysanne. Although they mentioned Jay Harris and Alysanne, and not just
Not just
Alysanne.
Alysanne and Alaric. Again, another AO3.
Fanfic.
A thousand AO3 careers gone in a second.
Hey, kid. I just finished watching.
Yo.
Hey, we're getting ready to talk about the final sequence of scenes here, but you want to give us your lemon cake, your cheddar cakes, your cheese rating?
Blood and cheese rating. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. It was pretty fabulous. I'm sorry I'm late. I just got out of work and watched as quick as I could, and then my computer crashed a couple of times.
Now you know, David. A vassal is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Right.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think that we've been mostly positive on the episode. I mean, they didn't do a whole lot to piss people off. Although that might change here as we start talking about the last sequence here. So after we get the grieving kind of all around, Daemon's like, all right, I'm gonna head off to King's Landing, bro. And he finds him a gold cloak who helps him find a rat catcher. And he's like, bro, your mission, kill Aemond. I need Aemond dead, and he's hard to kill. Get in there, kill Aemond. That's the mission. That's the goal. You heard me, right? He's an adult man with a sword and one eye and very hard to kill.
But we never got the rest of the conversation where he says, and if you can't, then what? And we never got the rest of that. So I'm assuming it was the son for a son they said later.
Yeah, we don't really get a whole lot else. And then, so then this is the scene where Kristen Cole and Aemon are having their, fireside bro down. He feels that Alicent blames him for starting the war, but he's like, I don't know, they were in some secret council and declared him king. So is that really my fault? So he's not really, I don't know how he feels, if he feels bad about murdering his cousin necessarily, but he seems to think like, hey, not my fault. Then we get the blood and cheese bumbling. They get in the castle very well. We get drunk Aegon with all of his frat bros being like, man, I need a moniker that strikes fear into the people.
I really enjoyed that scene. I really enjoyed the scene of him on the
Iron Throne.
Incredible.
Especially this Iron Throne that's got so many and the
swords you can just fall on.
In the behind the scenes thing when they were like, we're gonna make it bigger and we're gonna it couldn't be like the books, but hey, in season 1 we decided we're gonna make the Iron Throne more like it should have been under the Targaryens. They had all wooden stakes, all this stuff, and then after they made it, they said when they came on set, it was just nothing but caution tape and do not enter signs everywhere because they were deathly afraid someone was gonna hurt themselves. That's just an aside. But anyway, this was a great chat. All the bros getting drunk around all the sharp, pointy things.
I really enjoyed that scene, just overall. As from an Aegon perspective, it was really funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think that does some good work for him. Maybe, I don't know if that'll come up with the death that comes up, but we'll find out. So
I am a little. He has friends.
Well, look,
he has friends now.
As the king, you appoint friends,
right?
The king has friends for sure.
He has kids.
You'd have people that are royal bootleggers.
Hangers on, I think is what they call them, right?
Yeah. Royal lick spittles, if you will.
I mean, if anyone tells you to call yourself a dragon cock, they're probably not your friend.
True.
Freaking, he's a prince that never had a serious day in his life until like 3 weeks before this. Of course he has like bros. I mean,
yeah, like literally when they came to him.
As much as I love him, this is an Edmure moment. Like him and Patrick and like Kyle Vance.
Yes, that's a great freaking comparison.
And Mark Piper, like they're homies in the background.
But the difference being that like Edmure kind of was like, yeah, I'm gonna be the Lord of Riverrun, you know, and Aegon, even when they came to him, even after his mom being like, you know, it's probably gonna have to be you at some point, like he's like, I don't want to be king, leave me alone, like. I don't know if he ever really thought that was going to be a thing until it was, and now we see him taking to it. Anyway, after that scene, we get more bumbling in the dark, and I thought it was really good, the work they did with the lighting and the shadows from the torches, and I never really thought about it like it's this giant keep, and at night, like they're not necessarily going to have all the fires going, and like where the fuck are they, and you know they're getting lost and coming upon some random servant, and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm just here, don't worry about it, man, I'm just here laying the rat traps where I'm not supposed to be.
She's long gone to report to Clubfoot.
Yeah, and then he I don't know, he was going after her, but they'd already found Helena, right?
Yeah, but then she's found Helena.
Yeah, he hears the scream and then goes to join, and then a whole series of some terrible shit where I feel like my wife actually came into the room right towards the end of the episode and watched this, and she was like, "This is what you watch," and I'm like, "Damn it!" But
perfect timing. Perfect timing.
I feel like they pulled their punch a little bit on this. I mean, thankfully they didn't really show much.
I mean, showing a child get murdered is brutal and awful, and I don't necessarily want to say I wanted to see it.
No, I think this is the right call. The sound effects were bad enough.
Right.
But they pulled their punch with the whole like pick which son, and then when she picks, they're like, oh good, I'm gonna do the other one, and you're gonna know that one is the one you picked. Haha. You know. But
that's fair.
That's
fair.
Well, just to make sure you hate them.
I wanted the whole Sophie's Choice tension ratcheted up. You know, also in the book, Alicent is a witness to the scene because she was bound and gagged in order to wait for Helena to come in. And
yeah, that's the weird part.
Like instead, she's just begging Prithvi, and you know, it's just like fine. But like they had that moment in good for her. You know, just what's Clubfoot gonna do in reaction? Because he won't like that. But the you know, it's just like this is a moment of her, you know, like witnessing, you know, now, you know, Camp Rhaenyra finally deliberately harming, you know, like her, you know, like descendants. And the, you know, like this is like, you know, this is the kind of like good Greek tragedy that, you know, that we're watching this show for. And to, you know, just see the wheels you set in motion only when it's too late, because, you know, was it really worth it for Alicent to, you know, demand baby Joffrey be brought to you fresh out of the womb? You know, because this is the fruit of all that spite that
I mean, but I don't know, because Alicent, like you said, she didn't have to witness this. She wasn't
right.
Like it's a weird change. It's a weird way to end the episode. You know, on her riding the coal train.
I know, right?
Like,
they wanted that last scene. They just wanted
I know they
that
did.
last
I know they did. I don't know that I did. I don't know that I don't know that I hate it. I'm not saying I love it. That's for sure. It's okay that it's different, and I like the fact that maybe it's not quite as terrible to like watch, as like a terrible viewing experience as it could have been. But I do feel like maybe there should have been more people in the room. There should have been it should have been prolonged a little more. Maybe if
Yeah,
it was, I would have hated that.
also, I do like how just it seems like Crispy feels used by Allison just as he felt used by Rhaenyra. So
Right.
I
I
think
thought
that
it was interesting that I could tell that they were going to probably tone it down a bit when they had them kick the dog, just so you made sure you hated these guys.
I am really
Get 'em out of the
angry
way.
that they had that in there.
oh yeah, this was before you came on, David, but I
Sorry.
was a little late. But I said I compared them to the Home Alone burglars.
Yeah, except for
cute.
there weren't traps and irons
Yeah.
falling on their head. But
And the
they were
6-year-old
definitely
dies.
there was a
Except
lot
rat
of
traps.
bumbling, and I mean, I'm all for the plan having gone wrong. I mean, that's fine.
No, I like that part. I like how because like I've kind of like been on this like one track of just like ever since season 1 ended of just like why didn't they try for Aemon first? But
I
glad
have
they at least addressed that.
They did, yeah. I mean, Aemon was the target. I mean, there you go.
They saw him and they just left and went, nah. Like that was kind of weird. Like I didn't get any real obvious reason why they didn't just go for it, other than the fact that there were 3 other people in the room.
Oh, you
when
mean
they
Aegon
saw
or
Right.
Aegon.
Well, that was
Right.
oh
Aemon.
no,
Yeah,
Aemon.
yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, it's true. You're right. Sorry.
saw-
Yeah,
they
they
saw
they,
Aegon.
They just
they couldn't find Aemon. They don't want to kill the king for
Right,
a
that's
number of
true, yeah.
reasons. But yeah, had they run into Aemon and then nah, bro, we'll just go for these kids. That would make them even more vile. Which is
Also,
kind of hard to do.
if your job's Aemond and then you kill Aegon, who has no adult heir, you're kind of handing Aemon the throne. So you're doing a little bit of the opposite of what you're supposed to do to Aemon Targaryen.
Although I don't think they were thinking like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think kind of getting into the unintentional aspect. I said this when I came on, and some people have come on, so I think it's a good discussion topic, though. Like the idea that I think this show is really invested in the idea of like almost. I compared it to World War One, like the idea that this sort of slow motion things are happening, and you can see. It feels like you could stop this machine at various points, but it's just not gonna stop. Like, and I think they're committed to that, so that's why they had to have. That's why
The
they had
somewhat
to have.
comedy of errors.
Yeah, they had to have
Yeah.
Daemon send them to kill Aemond, and end up killing Jaehaerys. And then
Yeah, I mean, and this is a softening of Daemon, which they did the opposite in season 1, right? They took away opportunities where they would have kind of softened Daemon's character a little bit.
yeah,
Right, when they had him like just like talk with Blood and Cheese first.
Yeah.
I have
About
two.
Cheese's vices.
Well, he had his crime cloak on. He had his crime
Right.
hoodie.
We love the crime hoodie.
Oh my gosh, maybe that'll be my costume, the crime hoodie.
I have 2 theories with this. I think that they want to add some drama with Kristen Cole potentially leaving his post, with him being with Alicent at the time. Like maybe he was supposed to be guarding.
Protecting.
Yeah,
That would be good. That would make sense. And then would add drama to the will they discover the affair.
right.
And how long has it been going on?
Right. I mean, yeah, I don't know. But I also think that maybe, like, I wonder if, like, historically, since, this is what we got in the show, like, I wonder if maybe, like, they'll exaggerate it when they announce it or something. But I'm not sure.
The thing I thought was weird was that didn't she just 5 minutes ago say we can't keep doing this, and then they're in bed together again?
Oh please, that was the easiest. We're gonna do this real soon.
Is that
know,
is that weird, or is that exactly
That
what
was
you
the
expect?
last time. I said that last time. It became a
Yeah, that
pastime.
clearly
The
The
wasn't
only
the
thing I could
first
think
time.
is that last time he was eating her out, and he said we can't keep doing this. No, I want the full-on treatment.
That's right. Well, she never tells Larry she can't keep doing it.
Right.
Interestingly enough. But
Right, and also it was also just wait, wasn't it just Crispy that said we can't keep doing this, and then she just, or did she agree?
no,
And that
she
Crispy
says
No,
it.
she
said,
said
"Okay."
it. She said
She
it.
initially is like, she's like, never again, and he's like, yeah,
Right.
yeah, totally, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, he looked like kind of like, really?
So yeah, I couldn't tell. Was like,
Yeah.
was this the first time where they've kind of crossed the line because it's still kind of recent, and then she's like, never again, and then it's building, or is this like the third time she said never again, and he's like, yeah, baby, see you later. Like I couldn't quite get a read for that.
And about 10 minutes of airtime.
Yeah, like literally, yeah.
Well, now we can say that, Alice has never had an orgasm. We can remove that from the list of reasons for why she does things.
Right.
You don't know that. She could have been into some kinky shit with Viserys.
Didn't seem like it.
I was gonna say that's not what I would have
And she's
thought.
making eye contact with the rat. You mean that, Kevin?
Yeah,
Wow.
she likes getting cheesy. Okay, anyway.
Ugh.
All right. Oh. Whew. Wow.
What if Laris was warging the rat that she made eye contact with?
Hey,
Push
do y'all
draw.
think Laris is supposed to be compared to Varys? Could George have hit us any more over the head with that?
Say it ain't so.
No,
Laris?
I think he's much more of a Grand Maester Pycelle.
Baelish.
Who was the when David talked about eating out a second ago? I was like, what was the Grand Maester that said the thing about eating fish with Laenor?
Oh, Ormond, the guy at the small council.
Yeah.
And for the Maester Conspiracy subscribers, he was saying he was very quick at the small council to say that, hey, look, we have to assume that she's ignoring she's ignoring our ravens. So let's just get on with it.
Wait, are we talking about the same Grand Maester? I was talking about the one that, like, in...
No, because the Grand, I think it is the same Grand Maester because that Grand, at least in Fire and Blood, when that quote is said, it's in reference to Rhaenyra marrying Laenor, so it wasn't that long ago chronologically.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But yes, he says, I do not like to eat fish, but I will eat it when it is served to me.
Yeah. You know what else grinds my gears while we're here? I want fat Syrax, They made it seem like she was just a big tubby girl in the books. And HBO to do it. And I'm not happy about it. We want justice for chunky Syrax.
I don't know. I thought Cyrax looked good in this episode, though. So
I know she does.
know.
But George went out of his way to make her. I just think it would be a very funny visual.
I do think that's one thing that we're definitely going to get a lot more of is Cyrax in this show than we actually got in the dance proper.
Yeah.
I'll say this: the official figure does not look that fat sitting on my shelf right now. It's got a little belly, but
Yeah.
the statue from McFarlane that was on sale on Amazon recently.
Yeah. I got mine up. Let's see.
Oh, you did get one? Okay.
Oh yeah. I got Cyrax a while back, but let me see.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like $17 on Amazon, which is pretty good price for that.
Gee.
Not anymore though. Not anymore. He's more than double that now. So, oh well.
Cyrax is a girl.
I mean, sorry. Well, don't. I know I'm misgendering, but we shouldn't be giving gender. Do we know what
Yes, she laid
their
eggs.
preferred what the preferred pronouns are?
Yeah, and Cyrax just laid a clutch of eggs. How you think she can lose the baby weight just like that?
Fair point.
I thought they were both. All of them were both. I don't know where I read that, but I thought they were all both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So
Yes, they're sequential hermaphrodites.
the system they use in the books is just if they lay eggs, they use feminine pronouns, she, her.
Ah.
But they
I'm
don't
sure
ask
they
the
agree with
dragons. They don't ask the dragons permission, so we don't.
We don't really know how smart they are, you know.
Right.
Who could know the mind of a dragon?
You know, one thing we didn't get into real quick to go back to the last scene there was when they were giving her the choice. Did you like the look on her face? Like you could see she was, I think, having some visions there. Didn't you think that's what they were going for? And I wonder what the visions were.
Oh, I actually I did not clock that.
She looked as she's like pointing, like her eyes sort of went out of focus, like she
Right.
was looking at something, like something's coming to her. So I'm like, are we going to find out what that was? I don't know. You know, I wonder if that's what they were going for. I thought that's what they were going for, but
That would be interesting.
and what a moment to have a vision, right? In the most traumatic moment of your life.
Just seeing an unnatural timeline play out as you're trying to give them the wrong answer.
Right. Or seeing the implications and the consequences of what you're doing too.
Mhm.
Like maybe the timeline changed when she pointed, you know, and then like, oh crap, this is what I did. Oh no.
Ugh, that's brutal.
Yep.
All right. Let's
yeah,
see. I think we've reached that point of the evening.
Yeah, no, I
It is
don't
late.
have
Yeah, it's like
much else. I'm good to sign off.
All
Yeah.
right. Does anybody else
Good,
have
that's
anything they want to say, or anything for next week? Or
I mean, I guess how are they going to get Massaria to officially join Team Black is because David just said your freedom for
Right.
this information. But I mean, I mean, like they're obviously Aemond and Crispy are obviously planning Rook's Rest.
Mhm.
But I guess it's just a question of how long we have, if that's just going to happen in mid-season or
That's what I would expect.
yeah, the yeah, and uh, I mean, just on Team Green, it's just the juggling of who's up and who's down for controlling Aegon at any given moment, and then sounds like Alicent is going to use his injuries to gain an upper hand again when he's just high as a kite all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah, how quickly do you think that's going to happen? I don't think we have an episode title for next week.
Well, his injuries are from Rook's Rest, so if that's his,
Yeah.
so if that's mid-season, then that would be at the end of the season, and then she just spends half the season, just like being or
Angry.
just like feeling angry, being angry and feeling her impotence about her scapegoat son who no longer listens to him because he knows that she never loved him and is out here playing his immature fantasies about like people loving him. But I honestly thought that they were trying to tease Sheep Stealer when the shepherd came and asked him about the sheep.
Oh right, yeah.
But no, we can dream. But what was I going to say? It's but that's how it goes. And if they're not ending the season on the gullet, are they going to end the season just teasing the gullet or like just like zooming out on the Triarchy fleet arriving at Dragonstone and then we and we cut so it's not actually depicting the battle.
These are good questions. Find out next time on another edition of DragonCast. All right.
Maybe we'll spoil some more.
Maybe we will, and maybe we'll be even more confused with our shocking lack of knowledge. And we'll see. I don't know if we're gonna do next week or whatever, like right after it airs. So we might have a little more time to make sense of what we've seen at that point. But anyway.
Did we bring up the fact that this aired on Father's Day of all times? Did I miss that?
We did, yeah.
I figured. Just making sure someone said it.
He actually knew Jay Harris's name.
By royal decree. I mean, I feel like the Father's Day airing and all the articles that are come out, all the headlines is someone in marketing was like, yeah, let's go for Father's Day.
Yep.
So, yeah. Anyway, I will see you guys next week, and until then, I don't know, mount those dragons. Thanks, guys.
See you, man. Thanks all.
We'll set up a dragon play date later.